Welcome to our Grow with GoGo functional fitness class. Before we get moving, just a quick reminder of what else GoGo offers. So in addition to these classes, you can access rides, meals, groceries, medication delivery, and home services, all by calling one number. That phone number is 855-464-6872. We also have a referral program, so if you go to the bottom of your GoGo receipts, there is a code. If you give that code to a friend, once they've taken their first service with GoGo, you will both receive $30 in credit. So just a nice win-win if you know someone else would benefit from these services, maybe this class or something else that GoGo offers. We have a Facebook group, so if you ever want to continue any of our conversations online or just see how other people are using GoGo, you can find us on Facebook. We'll share a link to our page in the chat. And with that, we'll get going. So if we haven't met, I'm Aedra. I teach the yoga and the functional fitness classes here at GoGo. Today is functional fitness. We're getting back into the groove of things since I traveled quite a lot in September. What do we need today? So for our functional fitness class, this class is primarily standing. We do use a chair sometimes, but just know that the class is primarily standing. If you need to take breaks, please feel free to do so, but just know that the cueing will mostly be for standing. A set of light weights can be really useful. So I have some light weights, maybe 1 to 3 pounds. If you don't have weights, that's okay. You could grab cans, water bottles, or nothing at all and just move through the movements without the weight, and that can be plenty of challenge. We sometimes use a wall, but again, that'll always be optional. So if you have wall space, that can be great. Otherwise, it doesn't really matter. With that, I'm going to stop sharing my screen. So here in a moment, I should pop up nice and big for you and have a sip of water as that happens. Okay, so hopefully you see me nice and big. If for some reason you don't, you have to adjust your settings. So the way you would do that is bring your cursor to the top right-hand corner of your Zoom screen, and a box will pop up that says View. You want to pick Speaker View, and you'll see me nice and big. If you pick Gallery View, you'll see everybody else in little small squares, which is fine as well. Let me just adjust my camera a little. There we go. Ah, there we go. All right, so coming to a nice, comfortable standing position. Let's do some shoulder rolls back. Just a reminder that this is your time and your practice. So if you ever need a break or you want to add something or subtract something, please listen to your body. Take your shoulder rolls the other way. Let those shoulders relax. Let's do some head rotation. So just looking right and left. And then nodding the head, yes. And then bring the right ear towards the right shoulder. Get a side stretch of the neck. So lateral flexion. And then side stretch the other way. So ear to shoulder, then other side. Keep going, a couple more. And back to center. Let's do some knee bends. So inhale, bend the knees. Head is going to stay over the hips and then straighten the legs. So it's like a plie. So we inhale, bend the knees, right head stays over the hips and straighten. Let's add some shoulder movement. So we'll inhale, bend the knees, shoulders creep up towards the ears. Exhale, straighten the legs, let the shoulders drop. So we inhale, bend, shoulders come up. Exhale, straighten, shoulders drop. Keep going. So don't worry about my speed or anybody else's, moving at your own pace. We're just waking up the body right now, warming up. Next time your knees are bent, go ahead and pause. Keep the knees bent, let those shoulders drop. Keep the knees soft. We'll inhale, open up the arms and lift the chest. So little back bend, reach the tail back behind you. And then exhale, round the back, bring the backs of the hands to touch, tuck your tail, drop your chin. I'll give you a side view. You don't need to turn. Inhale, chest opens, arms reach back, tail reaches back. So we're stretching the front of the body. And then exhale, round the back, tuck the tail, backs of the hands touch. So we inhale, open the front of the body, and then exhale, we open the back of the body. Keep going, follow your breath. Coming back to center, straighten out those legs, relax those arms, and begin to bend side to side. So sliding one hand down your leg, and then the other. If you'd like, you could reach an arm up to the ceiling. So as one arm reaches down, the other arm reaches up. And then you swap. That'll give you a little more stretch into the ribs and not just the waist. Might feel it up into the shoulder. And again, that's an option. You don't have to do it. And coming back to center, bring your fingertips to your shoulders and soften your knees. Try and keep your legs pretty still. We're going to move just the spine, so try not to move your pelvis or your legs. We're going to rotate the upper body. So you might feel this happening kind of mid-back. You might feel like your glutes really need to engage to prevent you from moving your lower body. All right, and then coming all the way up and shake it off. All right, we're going to use our chair for some sitting and standing, or sit to stand, or some squats. So I'm gonna go sideways so you can see best, but you can just keep facing your screen. I'm also gonna take my socks off so I don't slip. I recommend you either are in shoes or if you're on carpet, you'll probably be okay if you're in socks, but just make sure you're safe. All right, so go ahead and just however you want, have a seat, take a seat. Just, and then come up however you want. Think back to how you just did what you did. So how you sat down and how you came up. Did you use your arms? Did you stagger your stance? Did you use momentum? Let's do it again, trying to do it how you would do it naturally. Of course, once we start paying attention, things do change. But just notice, okay, how do you usually stand up? All right, so we have what our habit is. And now we're going to do this more in a as efficient as possible, very symmetrical way, which is not necessarily right. It's just a way of movement. So go ahead and have a seat however you want. And then we're going to notice where our feet are. So if you're about to stand up in your normal way, notice where your feet are and maybe have a look. So for me, I tend to stagger. My left leg is stronger. My left foot always likes to go further back. So maybe you have that going on. Notice that. Notice how wide your feet are and where your feet are. So sometimes I see people with their feet really far forward so that the ankles are directly under the knees when they're about to stand up, which is really actually quite hard on the body. It requires a lot of quads and it isn't as efficient. So what you're going to do is we're going to now scooch our feet back so that we have a more acute angle here. So the ankles aren't under the knees, they're not ahead of the knees, but they're back. So it helps sometimes to sit forward in your chair to make that happen. And then let your feet be on the same plane. So make sure one foot isn't staggered forward. Let your feet be maybe outer pelvis width apart. It's a nice width. And then to stand up, I want you to think about leaning really far forward so your nose comes over your toes. And that should make it easy for you to get up without using your arms. Of course, that might not happen. You might still need your arms, in which case use your arms. So let's do that several times. So same thing on the way down. You're going to leave your feet. You're going to let your nose come forward over your toes. So see how far forward my torso is, and then hips come down. Go ahead and give it a try to try and get up, keeping your head over your pelvis. It's really hard to do if you keep your head over your pelvis. Yes, it's possible, but it's hard. So now let's make it easy on ourselves. So we lean forward and come up. And you're just going to do this several times, seeing if you can do it without using your hands. Now, if you do need your hands, of course, you could use your armrests if you have armrests. You could also put your hands on your thighs. Okay, so now for more challenge, you're going to keep doing this, but you're just going to tap the chair on your way down and come back up. So there's no rest. So you tap and come up. So it's squats, but you're leaning pretty far forward in these squats. Noticing if you've adjusted your feet or changed your position as we change the challenge. So that sometimes happens. Notice, readjust, just a few more. Notice what your arms do. All right, and then we're gonna finish up in the standing position, shake it off and grab your weights. Okay, we're doing reverse curls or reverse bicep curls. So you grab your weights if you have them. If not, water bottles, cans, or just moving through the motions, pretending that you're lifting something heavy can be great. Arms stay close to the body, palms are gonna face back. And then you're gonna bend your elbows, hands come towards the shoulders and lower down. So here you're really gonna work those forearms. You also will work those upper arms. Notice if your elbows start to splay out to the side. We're not doing that. We're trying to keep those elbows close to us. Couple more. All right, and go ahead and keep those weights. We're gonna go back to those chair squats with the weights. So stand in front of your chair. We're gonna do those hips tap down. You're leaning quite far forward, so it's almost like a deadlift in a lot of ways because we're bringing that torso pretty far forward here. We're gonna bend those knees, hips go back, tap your chair. Maybe you're imagining you're about to pick something up that's really heavy on each side, these heavy grocery bags, and come up. Yep, you're gonna keep going. So if this feels easy, you need to add your own internal resistance. You need to imagine that you're moving through maple syrup or peanut butter or water, or that you're picking something up really heavy and putting something down that's really heavy, right? So this can feel really easy because we don't have that much weight in our hands, so we have to create that resistance ourselves, which is a really safe way to increase challenge. Couple more. All right, next time you're standing, we'll go ahead and pause. Back to those reverse curls. So palms are facing back. We bend the elbows, hands come towards the shoulders and lower down. All right, let's put those weights off to the side. Take your feet kind of outer pelvis width apart. Hands can come on the hips. You're going to sway those hips a little side to side. So we're just noticing what it feels like to sway the hips. Okay, you're going to let your hips, I'll mirror you here. Let your hips go to the right. Then reach that right arm up and over, side stretch. Okay, come on up. We switch sides. So hips go to the left, other arm goes up and over, or left arm goes up and over. All right, now back to center. Now we're going to do that side bend without the hips moving. So keep those hips still. Reach that right arm up and over. So don't let that happen, right? We're not going to let the hip move. We did that earlier. Now we're keeping those hips over the feet as you side bend. Come up. Other side. So left arm up and over, hips don't move. Okay, and then back to center. This is going to turn into a core exercise in a moment here. But first we're going to figure out how we can engage our lower abs as best as possible. So go ahead and put your hands, if you're comfortable, on your lower abdominals, so below your belly button. On your exhale, what I want you to think about is that you're zipping up a tight pair of pants and you're blowing out 100 candles. So as you blow out the mouth, so as you exhale, you're zipping up a tight pair of pants and doing a really long exhale to try and find a little pulling in and firming of the belly. So whenever you're ready, go ahead and exhale. Zip up that imaginary tight pair of pants so you're pulling in from the bottom up as you blow out your candles. You might feel some firming and then relax. We're going to try and find that as we do the side bend with some weight. So the weight's going to add that challenge. So if you have a weight, go ahead and grab one. If you don't have a weight, that's okay. It's plenty of work. The weight of our arms will give you work, and you can even add that imaginary resistance. So I'm holding on either side of my weight. Arms go up to the ceiling. Your elbows can be slightly bent and your arms can be forward. So if you find that if your arms go over your head, your ribs pop out, bring your arms a little forward. I want your ribs to stay relaxed. Take an inhale to prepare. And then exhale, side bend to one side. Pull that abdomen in and up. So zip up that tight pair of pants, that imaginary tight pair of pants as you blow out your candles. Take an inhale once you're there. And then again, zip up that imaginary tight pair of pants, blow out those candles, bring yourself back up. Inhale, prepare. Exhale, side bend the other way. Same thing, zip up that imaginary tight pair of pants, blowing candles out. Pause, inhale, hold. And then exhale, bring yourself back up. Okay, few more just at your own pace. So don't worry about my speed, move at your pace. Imagine someone's trying to push you over and you're resisting them. So you're creating that internal resistance. Even yourself out. So you've done the same right to left. And when you're done, you can lower the arms, put the weight off to the side, and shake it off. All right, let's take those legs nice and wide now. So feet are going wide, so wider than the shoulders. Let's keep those toes pointing forward for now. We're gonna bend the right knee and push your hips back. Try and get that right knee over the right foot. So I have a straight leg, a straight left leg. I'm mirroring you. A bent right knee. My torso is forward. And then come up. And then other side. So we bend the other knee. Hips go back. Knee goes over the ankle. Torso comes forward. Stretch the inner thigh. Keep going. If you want, add your breath. Inhale down. Exhale, lift. Couple more. Maybe making sure you're even right to left. And then come on up. All right, grabbing that one weight again, we're going to do those side bends. Reach those arms up to the ceiling again. Maybe you have the weight, maybe not. Elbows can be bent. Arms are forward. Your ribs are relaxed. We inhale, prepare. Exhale, zip up those tight pants, side bend. Blow out those candles, zip the pants. Hold, inhale. Exhale, zip up the pants, pull yourself up to center. Keep going at your own pace, so keep alternating sides. Start to even yourself out. And when you're ready, you can come to center. There's no rush. All right, we're gonna do those side lunges, but this time we'll grab some weight. So with the weight, your chest will probably stay a little bit more lifted than it was in that previous variation, but it might come forward and that's fine. So feet go wider than those shoulders. We're letting those toes point forward. We bend one knee goes over the foot, hips go back, and center and switch sides. I'll give you a side view. I should have done that for the first variation, but that's okay. So side view, right? My torso comes a little forward. Hips are going back. Keep going at your own pace. All right, wrapping that up. Coming up, bringing those legs back towards each other. Put the weights off to the side and we'll move into some balance work. So I'm going to stand behind my chair. You can find a wall, a table, or come behind your chair or next to your chair, just somewhere where you can hold on as needed for support. I'm going to face towards you and hold on with just one hand so you can see better. I also suggest that you do that for some of the exercises because we're going to march. It is possible to march with your hands on the chair in front of you. Just make sure you don't whack your knee into the back of the chair. So just be mindful of that if you're facing with two hands on. Two hands on, totally fine, but just watch your knees. All right, so holding on. Let's stand on one leg, lift the other leg up into a march position. We're gonna hold there for a few moments. So you're holding on maybe with two hands, or one hand, or one or two fingers, or no hands. You'll find that right level of challenge. You want to feel like you're wobbling a little bit. You want to feel like you have to catch your balance, but not so hard that you keep falling out every second or that you feel unsafe, right? So challenge yourself. You want to make this a little bit hard. If it's too easy, your body isn't going to adapt. Okay, let's switch sides. So other foot down, we lift into that march position, lifting the knee up. Again, you're holding on maybe two hands, one hand, one finger, no hands. Find some degree of challenge. All right, now we're going to move into some slow marching. So you can do this holding on or not. I like my hands on my hips. So make it really slow. You want it to be a moment of balance as you lift your leg up. So it's not this, because if we go really fast, we don't actually get to work on our balance. You want it to be really slow. It's like you're moving through maple syrup. You're moving slowly. There's a little bit of resistance in both directions. And you're finding that balance. So again, you can hold on. Just make sure it's a little bit challenging. If this is really easy, like truly easy, and you're moving slowly, you have a moment of hang time at the top, you're in control, you can close your eyes while you're doing this. Only do that if it feels safe. If it feels unsafe to close your eyes, please open them. Right, and then coming to center, shake it off. Let's do a little stretch. So facing your chair, your table, hands on, walk yourself back, upside down L, or chair dog. Ankles go underneath the knees, which are underneath our hips. Torso moves towards parallel to the earth, but of course you can be lifted. You can also bend your knees, in which case your ankles are now behind the knees. All right, coming up, let's grab those weights. If you have them, let's bend those elbows 90 degrees or goalposts. This is going to be plenty of work without weights, so don't feel like you have to have weights. You're going to bring your arms forward in front of you, touch those elbows. So that's what's going to be hard. I'm going to see lots of people do this. Elbows touch, okay? Elbows touch, that's what we want. Elbows touch. And then open up. Elbows touch and open. Elbows touch and open. So keep going at your own pace. Really try and be honest with yourself. Are your elbows touching? If they're not, that's okay. But just think, try, try, try. Or can you do it without weight and get those elbows to touch? Couple more. All right. Lower those arms. Breathe. Break. We're going back to that marching. Slow and steady marching. So weights off to the side, we do our very slow marching. And again, you find that degree of challenge that you need. Maybe you have two hands on. Maybe you have one hand. Maybe you have one finger. Maybe you have no hands. Whatever you're choosing though, make sure you have that moment of hang time at the top before you come down. I want it to be controlled. So if I just told you at any random moment to stop, you would be able to freeze in whatever position I say stop in. And we're not going to do that today, but we have done that in the past. But just really finding that moment of hang time. Again, if you need more challenge, you close the eyes as long as that's safe. All right, let's let that go. Grab your weights. Goalpost arms or cactus arms, 90-degree bend. Elbows and hands touch and open. Keep going. Really get those elbows to touch, or get rid of those weights and try and get those elbows to touch. All right, maybe one more and relax.
Okay, we have time. We're going to repeat most of the exercises we've done. So we're going to do the chair squat slash deadlift, then the reverse curls. Don't worry, I'll remind you as it comes. The side lunges, the side bend, the marching, and then that open close arms. Okay, so we're going to do all of those starting with the chair squat slash deadlift. You can have your weights for this if you want or not. We're going to do approximately 10 reps of everything except for those side bends. We'll probably only do 2 per side, okay? 2 or 3 per side, just depends on your speed. All right, so if you want, weights are in your hands. You're standing in front of your chair. You're setting yourself up. Bend those knees, hips go back, torso comes forward, nose over toes. So it's kind of more of a deadlift than really a squat. You tap that chair and you come up. Keep going. Of course, you can get rid of the weights. You can use your hands if you need them. All right, next time you're up, go ahead and pause. Hold on to those weights, palms face back, reverse curls, bend the elbows, hand comes towards the shoulders and back down. All right, let's hold those weights by our chest if you'd like. Feet go wide, wider than the shoulders. I'll give you kind of a diagonal view. We bend one knee, hips go back. We come up and we switch sides. We bend the other knees. We have one bent knee, one straight leg. Give you some other views. All right, coming up, put one weight off to the side or both weights off to the side. Standing tall, reach the arms up to the ceiling. Ribs stay relaxed. We'll exhale, side bend to one side, doesn't matter which side. Pause, inhale. Exhale, engage your core, lift on up. Keep going at your own pace. Maybe one more each side. And then go ahead and come to center, lower the weights. Find your support. So 1 or 2 hands or no hands holding on. We go into our marching. Slow and steady. Find that right amount of challenge. So it could be 2 hands holding or 2 hands holding, 1 hand, couple of fingers, no fingers, or eyes closed for even more challenge. But remembering that you really want to find that moment of hang time, that you're truly balanced, that you're not rushing through it. If you rush, then you're not actually working your balance. Couple more. All right, coming to center, grab those weights. 90-degree bend. We bring the elbows and the hands to touch and we open. Close and open. All right. Go ahead and lower those hands down. Put the weights off to the side. We're going to sit in our chair in a moment, so I'm just not going to put my weight on the chair. Let's do a shoulder stretch. You could do this seated or standing. We'll bring one arm, we'll do right arm, I'll mirror you in front of you, cross it over to the left, and then use your left arm to hook onto the elbows. The elbows nestle. Drop your shoulder away from your ear. Few deep breaths. Switch sides, other arm comes forward, cross it over, drop the shoulder away from the ear. Reach the arms back, behind you, open the chest, lift the sternum up, 2 breaths. Then let those arms relax. Have a seat in your chair. I'm sideways so you can see better. You don't need to do that. Sit forward towards the front edge of your chair. Let's go ahead and straighten that left leg forward in front of us. We have a straight left leg and a bent right knee. Going to come forward, lean forward as much as you'd like until you feel a stretch somewhere along the back of that straight leg. You can support yourself onto your hands. You could also use your forearms for support. I find that I get more stretch if my foot is flexed or dorsiflexed, so the toes are facing towards the ceiling. So you might choose to do that. Come on up, let's switch sides. Bend the left knee, straighten out the right. Right toes maybe reach to the ceiling. Begin to lean forward until you feel a stretch somewhere along the back of that right leg. Feel free to support yourself onto your hands or your forearms. Smooth out your breath. Come on back up, lift the torso, rebend the knees. We're going to round our torso forward here. It's sort of like a child's pose, but we're in a chair. If that means nothing to you, don't worry about it. So you're going to come forward, lean forward, allow your back to kind of round, let your head go. Hands can brace on your legs. You could also bring your forearms to your thighs. Or if it feels safe, you can bring your hands down to your feet. Let your head and neck go. So we're just stretching out that back. Of course, if you come down to your feet, make sure it's safe for you to come up. So if that's too much, please stay on your legs, your upper legs, your thighs. 3 deep breaths. And then go ahead and make your way back up. Couple shoulder rolls one way. Shoulder rolls the other way. Let the shoulders drop. Let's inhale, circle those arms out to the side and up towards the ceiling. Exhale, lower the arms back down, really reaching through the fingertips, like you're really trying to touch the walls. Again, 2 more times. Inhale, circle out and up. Exhale, lower back down. 1 more. Inhale, circle out and up. This time, pause here. Interlace those fingers. Push the palms up to the ceiling. Take an extra breath. And let it go. All right. Awesome work, everybody. Today is Wednesday, which means you have a move of the week. So I gave you a move for yoga last week that you'll have to remember for next week. So the move that I'm giving you for functional fitness, you're going to have to hold on to it until not next week, but the week after next. What do I want the move to be? Let's make the move marching. So I want you to find a moment to do a little bit of marching and really slow and steady because this is really easy to sneak in. You're in the kitchen. Maybe you just hold on to the counter for a second and do a few marches. Anytime. If you feel steady on your feet, you're at the grocery store waiting in line, few marches. Maybe you have a wall nearby, maybe behind you or next to you, a few marches. So marching. Marching is our move of the week. So please write that down. I'm going to write it down too. Try and practice that between now and our next Wednesday functional fitness. I have to write it down, otherwise I will forget. All right, so now we have time if anybody has questions. So if anyone has questions about class, either functional fitness or yoga, now is your time. I'm gonna do that, then we can see everyone.
Aedra, isn't next Wednesday yoga?
That is right. Next Wednesday is yoga. So we do every other. So this move
Will
is
be the
your,
following Wednesday.
that's right.
Okay.
Thanks, Chloe. I see your comment in the chat. Of course, if you are ready to go, you are totally welcome to pop off, no problem.
You're welcome, beautiful. Have a good one. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you for the chair. As you age and the hips and what have you, you kind of get, so I needed that. Thank you very much.
You are welcome. Thanks for being here.
My pleasure. I enjoy it. Thank you.
Thank you. Annette saying, I had a rush today, but wanted to be here. Oh, awesome. I love it that you snuck this in, even though busy day and you were kind of rushed.
Thank you.
Yeah, and even if, you can only come for the first half, totally fine. I would say you don't usually want to come just the second half because you missed the warm up, but if you just came first half and you had to leave, that's totally fine. That goes for anyone, if you're busy, a little bit of movement is better than none.
See you next week, Aedra.
See you next time, Carol. I'm seeing, yep, I see you.
See you next Wednesday.
See you next time. So Friday is yoga this week. Next Wednesday is yoga. The following Friday is functional fitness.
Fitness.
That's right. Got to keep us all on our toes.
Yeah. It was reversed, but that's okay.
Hi, this is Millie.
Hi, Millie.
I had to laugh at the last comment. I am totally confused, but I will be here and do whatever happens.
I get confused too. We even I pop on the Zoom with V for a minute before we get started, and we both are sometimes like, is today chair yoga? Is today functional fitness? So
Hear that. I've had my right hip replaced, and I've been doing extremely well. And with all these exercises, I actually do better with my right hip than I do with my left for balance. Again,
Wow.
I have been losing my balance, and my right foot was crossing over my left one. They couldn't blame it on much of anything, and it never, that has finally subsided. I think it was neurological as well as physical. So all is good here, and thank you very much. I really enjoy doing this.
Awesome. Thanks, Millie. And I'm glad you're doing it even with the hip replacement, you know. There's always everyone always has something, and so I'm glad you're still showing up even if there's some discomfort.
I did get information about that even after it was over. Um, just like after breast cancer, they tell you not to lift anything more than 8 pounds. Well, that's impossible in my circumstances. And they didn't tell me whether that had to be lifelong or if it was just occasional, the way the breast cancer circumstance said. So we're just winging it here and actually doing very well, and especially thanks to GoGo.
Awesome. Oh, I love that. I'm so glad to hear that. Thank you for sharing.
You're welcome, and you have a good week.
You
Yeah.
too.
Thank you for wearing pink pants in honor of Breast Cancer Month.
Yes, yes.
Yes, I noticed that.
Yeah. I'm also a survivor, so that really sticks out for me.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you.
I love that. Congratulations to you both. I love that there's that sharing too. Then, you know, no one knows until someone says something. So that's special. Okie dokie.
I praise all those cancer survivors.
Thanks, Margaret.
Thank you. It's becoming more and more common.
Yeah.
Hope to be here Friday, but it's my 95th birthday.
95th birthday. That's so exciting.
Yeah,
On Friday?
Friday,
Okay.
So I still will be here.
I hope you will. So you're going to come to yoga on Friday.
Can't get careless.
That's awesome. That's so exciting. 95.
That is.
Should be very, I guess, I don't know, proud of yourself. How cool. That's
Gives us
like
something to aspire to.
exactly life goals. Okay, everyone. Have a wonderful rest of the week. And I hope to see you on Friday. And if not Friday, next week.
Okay. Have a
Thanks,
good
everyone.
rest of the day.
You too. Thanks, everyone.